If you're a nano or even a micro influencer or a UGC creator, Cannes might not be the best investment for you, but you should still go anyway. I got exactly what I wanted out of Cannes Lions, and it wasn't a brand deal or collabs or swag or some exclusive party or villa invite. You've seen dozens of glamorous recaps of this giant creator party on the French Riviera, and you have massive FOMO. Hold that thought. In this video, I'll break down how much I spent, who I think Cannes Lions is for, who may or may not should go, and a bonus, my biggest struggle there and what I wish I'd done differently. So here's the setup. I paid my own way. I went alone. I am barely a nano influencer. I have less than 20,000 followers across 3 platforms, but I am an advanced freelance creator. I grossed over $200,000 last year. For context, I think it's important for you to understand what Cannes Lions is, how it started. It is an awards festival celebrating creativity in the advertising industry. And those awards still happen. Winning a Cannes Lion Award is still the pinnacle of a creative's career. And in the last 3 years or so, the festival has added official creator programming, recognizing the place of the creator economy in advertising is here to stay. Cannes Lions has always set the stage for the advertising industry for the next year. So the creator presence says a lot about how much they are now fully integrated into traditional advertising. All right, let's talk money. Here's how much I spent. On airfare, I spent $2,300 on a premium economy seat. Y'all, I'm almost 45. There's no way I'm ever going back to economy. Plus, direct flights were $3,500 for a basic economy seat and something like $13,000 for premium economy. A layover's perfectly fine. I rented an Airbnb. I was there for 6 nights. Location was a priority and I spent about $2,300. $1,700 went to the official Cannes Lions creator programming badge. When I first got to Cannes, I thought, I didn't need to spend that money. There is so much going on in peripheral events, like I call them offsite events. They're non-official. They are all up and down the Croisette. Everything is sponsored privately by brands. And I thought, why did I buy this? I didn't need this, but it ended up being my anchor and I am so glad I had it. I found the programming to be much deeper at Creator Beach and it seems like they made an effort to actually connect everyone there. It also gave me access to the Palais, which who knew is massively air-conditioned with a snack bar, and that's where you can view all of the award work as well. Transportation, like from door to door, a little under $300. Most of that is the cabs in New York. Public transport in France is very good, especially from Nice to Cannes. There's a train and a bus. Food, I had an apartment, so I didn't eat out that much. I got myself snacks and groceries. This is a really important tip. If you go, you'll hear a lot of people complain about how there's not enough food. Along the Croisette are these big turquoise kiosks. They are covered in ice cream signage, but they also sell sandwiches for like 5 to 7 euros. All right, who I think Cannes is for? B2B creators and major influencers. You can get invited to special dinners, breakfast, cocktails, parties with the CMOs of large brands and agencies. When you hear people talk about like the deals being made and the collabs being had, that's where those are happening. If you are smaller like me, and if you are like a UGC creator that's direct to consumer, there are no brands that are consumer facing at Cannes. So there's really not many people for you to meet. The programming isn't like how to become a better creator. There's nothing really functional. It's all pretty abstract business talk. So why you may or may not want to go. I mean, you want to go. You want to go. Is it going to be worth it for you? First, you got to define a success metric. I really struggled with this before I went because I had never gone and I really didn't know what kind of conversations I may or may not find myself in. Once I got there, I realized the success metric was being there, that I got there. Going to Cannes is a prestige event in a creator's career. To say that you went to experience this kind of thing, oh my God, it is such a big deal to be able to go. Even if you pay your own way, look at you. You paid your own way to Cannes. That is a big fucking deal. So I realized that I have no idea how to think bigger for myself. And that was the primary reason I wanted to go. I just wanted to see the potential. Like what is possible? For me, my guiding focus was to observe and absorb. And even, that's really abstract, that's not that concrete, but I kept reminding myself that that's why I was there. And I needed to do that because I experienced so much FOMO because there were so many creators who are like hustling off to these, private and invite only events that I didn't have access to. And I felt like such a loser that I was just wandering around aimlessly and I had no one to talk to, no one to meet up with me, no one to share with at the time. And I just kept reminding myself, you knew you'd be alone. You knew that you would know no one. So I was so proud to go and to get myself there. I had a professional obligation with Fiverr, that's the freelancing platform that I primarily work on, but I otherwise felt so small, overwhelmed, and out of place. But here's the payoff. When I came back, I looked at everything completely differently. It altered my brain chemistry. I am a different creator now than I was before I went to Cannes. I take my business more seriously. I treat it like a strategic business. I have a sharper focus on where I want to place my attention. I'm going all in on YouTube. So here's where I struggled the most. I'm an introvert and I know this about myself, and I know how easily I run out of steam, but I can project. Like, I know how to show up in a group of people. I know how to have conversations with people I don't know. What I ran into was the fatigue of having to walk into a brand new space multiple times a day and starting from scratch multiple times a day. The number of times that I roamed around the space looking for someone to talk to, but everyone else is in a conversation or they're on their phone, and constantly having to build up the gumption and the courage to approach someone and talk to them. And then sometimes the events were just loud and it was like, do I have the energy to talk over this music right now? Do I want to? I am so tired. By day 3, I felt my nervous system just lock up. And I was craving familiarity. I missed talking to creators, about the details of the insides of their business. I want to talk about how are you handling AI abuse because I have a story to tell. What are you doing strategically in your business? How are you thinking bigger? By Friday, I realized I should have been the one to start those conversations because that conversation was not created for us. The festival itself doesn't talk about that. And my main regret is that I didn't practice for this in-person event before I went there. I should have gone to more in-person events in my city and just practice my elevator speech, practicing talking to brand new people, especially about the creator economy. FOMO was a major distraction. Go in to observe and absorb for your first year. You will get so much intangible direction for your business. My final note, the festival is delightfully gauche. Delightfully, but gauche. It is overwhelming, it is overstimulating, and it is 100% worth experiencing. I'm sure you have lots more questions. There's way more details we can get into, but this is enough for now. So what do you think? You think you're gonna go?